Okay. See, every single one of these, it's me who messes up. There's not been a single episode where anyone else has messed up. It's always been me. And it's always been
One,
right at the outset.
Brent, they call me one take Sean. I do it all in one take.
Well, welcome everyone to this episode of the Small Talk Window podcast, where we have a small window of time to dispense with the small talk as quickly as possible and settle into a meaningful conversation related to the world of work. And today, my guest is Sean Behr, who is CEO of Fountain. Welcome, Sean.
Brent, great to be here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the pleasure's all mine, by the way. I'm really looking forward to this particular episode. We're going to be talking about frontline workers and this sort of thing. And it's tough to get a hold of them sometimes, and we're going to talk about that. I have some friends like that, by the way. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Friends and family members who are also difficult to get a hold of.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Uh, Maybe you could share with our audience just a little bit first about, what gets you up in the morning, passionate about the world of work.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I'm most passionate about is this frontline worker universe. I think for all of the podcasts that sort of think about software engineers and marketing people and, growth people and FP&A and investment banking and venture capital, the vast majority of people in the world, they don't sit on Zoom. They're not on Microsoft Teams. They're on the front lines of our economy doing jobs to, fill our grocery stores and deliver food to us and deliver packages and work in restaurants and retail stores and nursing homes and, hospitals. And so, delivering products for a large group of people who I think have been underserved really sort of excites me. It's a huge population of workers in the States. For every person that's on a Zoom call, there are 10 lucky people that are not, and so that's what really gets me up in the morning and one of the reasons why I'm passionate about this world.
Uh, I think you're right about that. They are very lucky. Zoom as well. Zoom's good. Technology is great. We had a kind of a little bit of a humorous title for this particular episode. And I might mangle it now, but you're not going to reach your frontline workers on Hotmail, um, and you're probably not going to reach them in Gmail either, or certainly not MS Outlook Exchange. I mean, they're not online. They probably have a smartphone because everybody has one now. You might be able to reach them via text. Maybe they'll have. A lot of them don't have email addresses,
Yeah.
which is just totally foreign to me. Um, just a stat that your team actually shared with me, and I was really quite astounded by it. The vast majority of frontline workers, 84%, lack a computer. And that's according to a 2023 survey by Market Splash. And SHRM found that 60% of them will abandon an online job application process if it's too lengthy or complicated.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them because I've tried to do plenty of, in my day back in previous lives, I've done plenty of job applications and on a computer, and it's tough enough with some of these systems where you have to, okay, upload your resume. Great, I'm all done. Okay, now put your resume into this text editor file, and so you got to go and you got to do it differently every time. It's like, oh my gosh. Um, so we're losing frontline workers before we even get them. What is going on here?
Yeah, what's happening? Uh, Look, I think it is, if you think about consumer companies, people that sell a product or a service direct to consumers, they spend a lot of time trying to segment their audience. They try to figure out who's the buyer of this product, who's our target buyer, how do they interact with us? What's the best way to market to them? Should we do Google ads? Should we do Facebook ads? Should we do Instagram ads? Should we put up billboards? They're good at marketing to us, and you and I buy lots and lots of products, and whether it's sneakers or clothes or potato chips or whatever the case may be. But they're really sophisticated in thinking about how they reach their end user. The same thing can happen for workers, and it's not happening for workers. So, to give you kind of a sense, most HR technology is, especially on the hiring side, are based on, I would say, 2 or 3 big foundational structural underpinnings. The first is everybody has a resume. Most systems require a resume. They talk about resumes. They have resume scanning and resume uploading as you teed up here. Second thing is they naturally default to email as the primary communication device. Mm-hmm. They always ask you for your email address, right? And then the third one is they assume that you're looking at a computer with a full screen keyboard and a camera and a monitor and all kinds of things. When you shift to a frontline worker, okay, that is a completely different world. Most frontline workers don't have their resume up to date. They don't have a LinkedIn profile. Like, you can't look them up on LinkedIn, which is something that many people in the knowledge worker world do. They don't use email as their primary communication channel. It's actually text messages or WhatsApp, depending on where you are in the world, maybe Facebook Messenger, depending on which region of the world you're in. And third, they're doing almost everything they do on their phone. That's their primary device. Now, you could actually see a little bit of this even seeping into our lives in the knowledge worker world. How many, my guess is the number of tasks you complete now on your phone is way higher than it was a couple of years ago.
It's through the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other one that I think is always amazing is, I obviously, we all buy lots and lots of products online now, do lots of online shopping. Almost every forward-thinking e-commerce company is now asking for my cell phone number. And then they're sending me text messages to kind of, when they have new products launching, or they want me to come back to the sales section, or even really incredible marketing stuff like, I added something to my cart, and then I get a text message a couple hours later that says, hey, those items are selling out fast. By the way, it's brilliant. It's brilliant tech.
Yeah. Just
taking it and applying it to the frontline workforce can make a real big difference for customers.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it brings up a kind of an interesting tangent. I wouldn't even call it a tangent. It's related. And I'm just curious of your thoughts on this. There's an employer brand, customer brand sort of commingling opportunity here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We see it all the time, especially in a competitive labor market. I've talked to some leading CHROs who are actually partnering more and more with their chief marketing officer.
Yeah.
Because they're realizing that the way to get people to come work for the company is to lead with the brand. These companies have spent.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
Tonight on NBC, Jimmy Fallon and Bozoma St. John host the highly anticipated new competition show.
I hired 10 creatives from all walks of life. They will be battling it out to see who can impress the world's biggest brands.
This is a huge opportunity.
This is the battle for the next big idea.
This is not play. We're spending millions of dollars.
I'm so excited to embark on this adventure with all of you.
May the best idea win!
On Brand with Jimmy Fallon, series premiere tonight on NBC.
billions and billions of dollars building their consumer brand that is so powerful and so connected to people. It's a great way to leverage it to try to attract people to say, hey, you really like this beer, or you really like this potato chip, or you really like these shoes, come join us. I think probably, the best example, one of the best examples is Nike. Nike, obviously has an amazing consumer brand, one of the biggest and best brands on the planet. They also do that throughout their hiring. They make you feel like you're going to be part of Nike, which is really a great competitive advantage if you're trying to get the best frontline talent to come work at a retail store. Saying I'm going to be part of something that I already identify with is a really good lever.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's that opportunity to, well, you're looking at the flip side too. Let's say you had an experience that you wanted to maybe go work, let's say Nike, right? If you get treated and you're a frontline worker kind of person, right? You fit that mold. Let's say you don't get the job. There's a good chance you're still gonna maybe need some sneakers, and I know they do way more than sneakers now. But and if you had a bad experience, then there's at least a chance you're gonna go buy. I'll show my age. New Balance. I know they don't make those anymore.
Of course. Of
But
course.
I mean,
Like taking care of candidates, even the ones you don't hire. Being real straight with them, like, hey, you're not a good fit for this role, or you don't live near where we need you to live, or whatever the case may be. Knowing that person, one, they may or may not be a customer of your product, and if you treat them right, they're probably gonna be a customer of your product. But they're also gonna go tell a lot of people. They're gonna go home for the holidays in a couple of months, which is hard to believe that the year is already coming up on that place, but they're going to go home. They're going to be with friends and family. And, what they don't want to come out and say is, yeah, I used to love that company, but I tried to work there and no one ever followed up with me, or I was treated poorly. Terrible.
Sorry to interrupt, but you got me excited here because there's another piece to it, right? It's not just, it is the brand. Being cognizant of it and being intentional with your brand and realizing this, and that the two go hand in hand, but it's also sort of the ecosystem, the actual tools in place to act on that, because you could have a great brand somehow from way back before we had the internet, even thinking Nike again, right? But if you don't have the right tools in place, you can't act on that. And so you may be inadvertent. You could put all this effort into this almost this brand that you almost can't even put a value on it, right?
Yeah.
You just know it's everything, and without it, you're no longer a going concern. And yet, if you don't have the right tools in place, you're going to fumble the ball, and you're going to chip away at the value of that brand by attrition, and at some point be in a bad place.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, obviously this is a shameless plug for Fountain, but almost all of our products that interact with the frontline worker, whether that's searching for a job, onboarding for a job, scheduling their interview, getting the offer, starting their first day, completing their first month, their first 6 months. When you look at the experience that frontline worker has, it looks like the company's website. Like it has the same colors, the same branding, the same look and feel. It uses the same words. Mm-hmm. And the same tone. It's almost indistinguishable from the company's corporate website in every interaction with that frontline worker, because you've worked real hard on that brand. You don't want to fumble it, as you said. You want to make sure you carry it all the way through that work life cycle of the worker.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Just looking at the time, and we are small talk window, and so we need to kind of land the plane here. But maybe you could give us one example of beyond recruiting. What is another example, maybe, of how it's a lot different, sort of communicating with and managing the employment of frontline
workers. Yeah, if you think about that, we talked a little bit about recruiting and using text messages. Most frontline workers, when they join a company, they are not provisioned a computer and a corporate email address. Now, they don't get a corporate email address, which means you don't have a reliable channel to talk to those people. What typically happens is if you want to talk to everybody at store 114, someone calls the manager of store 114 and says, hey, store manager, get all your workers together and here's what you should tell them. Now, we all know not all the store employees will be there for the meeting. So even if the manager does a great job of communicating, there'll be people who don't hear it, and then they'll hear about it from a friend. And of course, by the time it gets to that other worker, the message is completely diluted from what the company wanted to communicate. So what we provide is a way to sort of say, hey, if you want to send a message to all the store employees at store 114 in this typical example, here's Fountain Communicate. Open this up, generate a message. Not only will it send all those workers, you'll be able to see who's engaging with it, who's engaging, who maybe it bounced. Oh, wow. We don't even have a valid cell phone number for this worker. That's something we got to fix. So anyway, those are the kinds of things our customers do. And it turns out if you engage with these workers, they pay it back tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the investment in the workforce that pays back the dividends and leads to greater profits and EBITDA and all that. There's an ROI play here. There's a newfound efficiencies. There's a compliance play here. All sorts of things. It's really interesting, and thank you so much, Sean, for appearing on the podcast. This is a fascinating topic, and I believe we're going to have you on again sometime soon.
Absolutely, Brent. Always happy. Hopefully we got a lot done in a small talk window, but thrilled to be on and happy to come back.